Boy Chief. The leader of this beautiful land that belongs to myself and my tribe civilians. Now please, tell me why you come here.
I don't know where I am, so I am sorry if I invaded you and your tribe members. I'm gonna leave.
It seems though we have some intruders, but now I have trained and prepared very hard for this. I want you all behind me and everything. And please, when we fight our land and Native Americans, together we stand as one, a tribe for all. And please remember these things. All planets are our brothers and sisters. They talk to us as if we listen. And can we hear them? Before eating, always remember and thank for the food. When we show our respect of our living things, they respond with respect for us. And finally, the weakness of the enemy make our strength. We won't get through this together, tribe members, but always remember truth is our higher strength. Never misuse it.
All hail Bull Chief.
Wow, did you think that class was interesting today?
Yeah, it was. I learned a lot.
Me too.
Oh, what is that? What is that?
Oh, you've never seen that before?
No.
Oh. Well,
What is it? Landmark native to Bull Chief Shawnee tribe, founded 1561.
yeah, so 500 years ago, Bull Chief and the Shawnee tribe came, and they were native to this land, and then we came, us European Americans came, and tried to take over, but we coexisted with them as our own people, so we just took their traditions and customs and made them our own today, and coexist with them.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know that.
No, I didn't. Thank you for letting me know.
Of course.
I just really enjoy that we can like go out and walk and it's almost dark. And like, can you imagine like back in the day how much of an issue it was, like being a woman and being scared of being like sexually assaulted all the time?
I would be terrified to go out at night by myself without anybody with me, and knowing that it's a possibility that it could happen.
It's just crazy to me, like just the way that, you know, people lived like that, like just and didn't care.
And like it was always like they never looked at like what the victim thought.
Right, like they were always blamed too.
Yes.
I never understood that.
I didn't get that.
I never understood how women put up with that too.
I know, and how they like you know, some women did take a stand, but it was hard for them because they were women, and like the sex discrimination kind of thing, because of their gender, they weren't like sought as like human beings that had like a say kind of thing, and it was just awful.
Do you remember learning about that in intermediate government?
Okay, yeah, you know, like in the United States there wasn't many women in government like positions, and it's kind of awful that, you know, it was a male dominant like job.
It was all of it was. It's just crazy to look back at that. Like thankfully Eudaemonia is not like that at all.
I know.
Where
like,
we're given, like we're pushed to be leaders here.
Yes, and women actually have the ability to become leaders, and they are confident with themselves.
Right. Like our own doctor in our government leader doctor is a woman too, and
Yes.
she's so smart, and I love that we're given the capability like that.
Yes.
I keep saying, I could never imagine living in a society like that.
And like when they have their conversations about like the government in their meetings, she is seen as somebody who has like great perspectives and know what she's talking about.
Like her opinion matters.
Yes.
And she's not looked at because of what she's wearing.
Yes. Or because of her gender.
Have you gone to the library at school and looked at some of the magazines that were present back in that day, and how like every woman was like scantily clad, and every man too was just like this big beefy macho thing? That's frightening.
Yes, and like when back in the day they did not have any regulations on media. They had nothing like we have today, where, you know, you have to follow a strict like procedure of what you can put out in the media.
Yeah.
They don't have that like back then, and it was, you know, women were they were seen as objects.
Yeah.
They weren't seen as women, and that's what, you know, the media degraded them as women, and it was just.
They did it in school too. Do you remember learning about like that second curriculum?
Oh, yes.
That's crazy to me.
I don't get it. I really don't. You know, I couldn't imagine living back then, even with like bringing up like what we were talking about before with like the rape, of how, you know, criminals back then, of like what they did. I just, I don't know.
Crazy.
I'm so glad we don't have that now, or like not to that extent. Like,
I'm glad we have the rehabilitation services we do now, and they don't just like shun everybody away and stick them in prisons and other facilities. Like they actually look to like the root of the problem and try to fix it from there, and like see the good in people. Because I love living in this country because of that.
Yes, you know, there's like, they mainly focus on like helping the person and not labeling them as like a criminal, because therefore they follow into that prophecy of like being a criminal, and therefore they keep committing these acts, and like actually like showing them like, yes, you did something wrong, but you can overcome this like this label of, you know, you are a person, you can be something.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of, I just don't understand how it was back then. I couldn't
I don't think
deal
we
with
could
it.
live back then.
No, I don't think we can either.
Or survive at least.
Yes.
I mean, realistically, no one would have taken us seriously anyways, or as much as they do now. So.
Yes. Yes. And you know, and like policies have changed from back then. Like, you know, we don't have any guns here.
Yep.
So therefore that, you know, what's the word? Like,
Deters.
Deters, you know, crime. And plus, we don't have the prisons or like penitentiaries anymore. It's, you know, more focused on like rehabilitation. We have the regulations on media, so women cannot be hypersexualized or objectified.
We have like labor laws too, so people can't be like worked unfairly.
Yes.
Or unjustly. Like I just love living in this country to know that they really care about their people.
Yes. And they care about the well-being and the safety of like us as citizens of this country. And I mean,
it's been really hard for them to get here.
I know. I mean, it's taken hundreds of years for them to figure it out, but I'm very happy they did.
Me too.
What are jobs like in Eudaemonia?
Well, jobs in Eudaemonia, the way they're set up, everyone has an equal opportunity to acquire a job. It's not the way that it used to be, because back in the day, women were not allowed to go to college, they weren't allowed to go get schooling to acquire the type of jobs that were provided in Eudaemonia. And now, as long as you have the schooling, you can get any job you want. It's equal opportunity.
Awesome. So what you're saying is men and women get equal pay? There's
Equal
nothing.
pay. Yeah, that was a huge problem back then. But now, we made it so that equal pay is something that is like guaranteed now. So the government looks over all of the businesses, and we make sure that everyone is following what is supposed to happen. So if you go to school and you have the same amount of schooling as I do, you can have the same job that I have and get paid the exact same. There's no discrimination.
Awesome. So basically no gender roles, no sexism.
No sexism, no gender roles. Equal opportunity is what we're for.
Do you enjoy having a high deductible? Do you even have insurance? I understand. We all know it can be frustrating and possibly frightening. With our healthcare network, insurance companies are not allowed to discriminate based on pre-existing conditions. You can have healthcare services without going broke. This is exactly why we want you to contact us as soon as possible. We want you healthy and also to save money. Going to get a prescription or going to the dentist can now be a breeze with the help of our affordable healthcare. Don't neglect your health or your wallet. Call today at 1-888-HEALTH.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? We're okay. What brings you in today?
Her parents.
Yeah, my parents believe in having a marriage license. And from where I'm from, you get married. And here in Eudaemonia, it's just relationship, two people as one.
Right.
And,
So it's just the two of us. Love is what is important here, and the paper isn't as important as it is in other places. But her parents don't understand that.
Did your parents have any problems with Cassidy?
Yes, they do. They don't accept me fully because I'm Caucasian.
Yeah, it's been a real uneasy transition because my parents, they're really strictly stay in your race. And here in Eudaemonia, we support interracial relationships. So it's pretty hard on our parents. But right now, we're just trying to set the be role models for our children in the future. And,
Okay. So your kids, any conflict with the kids?
Yeah, it affects them. Even though they're little, we have a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, and even though that they're not of age yet to be in a relationship, they still see it between us that we have that type of conflict. So it affects them, yeah.
Yeah, so we try to keep that away from them, but they still see it. And so we're just trying to handle it the best we can.
And be role models for them for when they do get into that age of being in relationships, that they understand that love is love and they can be with whoever they want and they don't have to deal with that.
Right.
Alright. Well, this was a good session, so I hope next time we'll figure this out.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Water. It can be the bottle we grab as we rush out the door to work, or it can be the waves lapping on the shore outside our cabin window. Water can be the shower that goes cold on us every morning, or the rapids we shoot before breakfast. Water can be puddles on a sidewalk, or the stream where we teach our kids to fish. Sure, water can flood a basement, but it can also flood our minds with the memories of the greatest times we will ever know. Dive into the waters of pure Eudaemonia. Hundreds of crystal clear lakes, thousands of rivers and streams, and more freshwater coastline than any other nation. Come find out what the greatest agricultural nation feels like. Come find out what pure feels like.
Good morning, class. Welcome to history. You guys doing okay today?
Yeah.
Please do me a favor and pull out your syllabus. We're gonna just read it over so that you guys know what the course is about. You guys have a great summer?
Yes.
How was yours?
I want us to go to see the point that we're making. Okay, so welcome to intermediate history. As we discuss every school year, do not be discouraged that we are very diverse age groups here. We in Eudaemonia fully believe each and every person develops intellectually at their own pace, right? And there's no shame in being older than one of your classmates. Heck, I didn't receive my teaching certification until I was 30. However, if you're feeling discouraged in any way, please know that each instructor here is trained in the study of psychology, as well as our main goal is to help you explore all of the worldly possibilities without damaging or straining your mental and emotional health. Your well-being is our main concern. After all, you are the future here. And does anyone have any questions so far?
Yes, Professor Allen, can you please tell me what are we going to be learning in this class? Because my brother took this class, and he said this class is very upsetting.
It is? No, it's not upsetting at all. Well, if you flip to the second part of your syllabus, I'm just going to read that over so that'll tell you what the class is really about. So it can be disturbing to some, but this instruction period focused on what brought us here as intellectual beings. We are able to coexist peacefully from the barbarians that we once were. You know, everybody has a past, and so right now we're talking about the present and how we have came so far. We will take a look back at policies that went into play that were the product of the shady backdoor deals done by two-faced politicians, you know, all the bad stuff. This class is a bit upsetting sometimes just because of the controversial issues that we're going to be discussing. But it is a collective belief that we must know that these awful systems once existed so that we may never return to such a dark place. Yes.
Professor Allen, I heard we'll talk about the very controversial 2016 United States presidential elections that helped snowball us into a more aware and conscious society. Is that true?
We're gonna spend a little bit of time on that. Many historians do, in fact, believe that the hatred and ignorance spewed from the candidates helped awaken the population into a belief that will change how the people of the population feel towards the candidates. My great-grandmother helped start that movement, and that shifted society to a more humane and educated philosophy that we hold dear in Eudaemonia.
Wow, Professor Allen, that is really something. One more question I have to ask you about your exams. Can you please tell me what your exams is going to be like?
Well, as you much know, that in other curriculums, we don't believe in preview view of standardized testing. I mean, it gets overbearing, you know? We know that this shows nothing of your actual intelligence levels and actually provokes anxiety and depression among students. We don't want you guys to be depressed. We want you to be happy here. Your only assessment with this course will be a project symbolizing with what your ideal government would consist of. Submissions will be made public and any notable ideas may be considered implemented with our own government. This will be discussed in full detail later down on the course. However, because I don't want to have you worried before we even begun, if there's any other questions about the syllabus that we went over?
No.
No? Well, that's all, class.
Thank you.
And tomorrow we'll actually get deep into the lecture. You guys have a great rest of the day.
Hey, do you have the notes for medieval religion?
I do, actually.
Because I was kind of confused.
So there was like a few things we highlighted, and mostly like Miss Roberts was just kind of comparing and contrasting a lot of things that were happening back then as compared to now. And like the main focus was like Christianity and Islam. And it was really an interesting class actually, and like I think she's posting a video online, so you might be able to watch it too. But it was kind of talking about like how back then like a lot of Christians like persecuted people, or like they were persecuted themselves because of the religion that they believed in. And she focused a lot about like Islam, and after I guess like these terrorist attacks that were happening and things, and they kind of just believed everybody was trying to everybody from this religion was trying to kill everyone, and they had like this crazy thing during the elections of like trying to ban these people from coming in. It was just the craziest thing, and just kind of comparing it to now and how, you know, we allow people to practice their religions as long as it's not like impeding on anybody else. And if that does happen, we take them to like rehabilitation centers.
Do we like really know that though? Because like we really haven't seen these people like after they, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember the guy like last year who was running around with Bibles and trying to like preach to everybody on campus?
I haven't seen him since.
I haven't either.
Wow.
I remember they did like a state of the emergency address and said that they were going to take care of it, and they were going to rehabilitate him and reintegrate him into society.
Yeah.
But come to think of it, like I feel like it shouldn't take that long.
That is something to think about. I wonder. Wow, that is very interesting actually.
I have faith in our government, though. I think they really did take care of the situation.
I mean, look how far we have come with it, like with religion, with like crime. And, like,
we are a
everything.
very open-minded government.
Yes, we are.
That really tolerates all of us.
Yes, and they put into consideration like everybody. So, you know, that is something to bring up to even the government officials. You just never know.
Yeah, and I don't think they want us talking about this, so we need to be quiet. Maybe someone will hear us.
Yes. Well, you know, like bringing back like, you know, Hala. We're like best friends with Hala. Like, she's a great person. And I, you know, like learning about like religion in this like class, like they didn't like apparently like the way Hala dresses and what she worshipped, they didn't accept her back then. They wouldn't accept her back then like we do now. Like just because she wears a hijab, like they would be afraid of her. Like I don't understand that. Like people would miss out on meeting so many great individuals because of their fear or like prejudice against religions. Like it blinded them. Like she contributes so much to society. Like she's a great friend, she works hard, and people back then would not even like think of her like that. They would just look at her and be like, oh, she's like Muslim or something. Like
She's some crazy radical terrorist.
yeah.
There's some of the slogans and things they showed. Or have you learned about ISIS yet?
I have, but they haven't really like explained it thoroughly for me.
They haven't said too much, but from what I've gathered, it was a very religiously intolerant, radical sect of the Islamic group. That they weren't actually Muslim themselves, but a lot of people who were intolerant back in the day decided to lump them up in that category to be able to hate so many more people of that religion.
Yes.
But they would slaughter their own people and hated the Western world and just did these crazy things.
Yeah, I remember remember the professor, she brought up like the media and how like they would show these like ISIS like militants like acting like deviant behavior, like very, very bad like mannerisms and everything, and people would be afraid of like the media. I mean, like looking at the media and then bring that over to the United States and like look at those individuals who practice who were Muslims and therefore identified ISIS with them, which that wasn't how it was. I just don't understand. Like,
Do you think that still happens today and we just don't see it in our news media?
that could be, we could be like oblivious to it.
Because I can't believe that everybody is as intolerant as we are.
Yeah.
That's why we have the borders we do, to not let people come into our country and change the way that we do things. So, I mean, you have to kind of think that maybe some other nations are kind of more barbaric and they don't see acceptance the way we do.
I know. It's great though, because like me and you we can practice other religions and we can still be great friends. Like that's just great. I don't know why people back then did not.
Thank you, my brothers and sisters, for joining me today in this emergency discussion concerning our beautiful land, Eudaemonia. I hope you have all rested well and are enjoying your areas of expertise. I call this meeting because recently we've been informed of some rumors of individuals from our neighboring country, Bakt, sending some of their individuals over to convert our nation to one main religion, and that is intolerant of others. Yes. I'm hoping that some of you have heard this within your respective fields, in that maybe with all of your different viewpoints, we can come across a solution where no one is harmed and we can continue our peaceful life here on Eudaemonia.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Farmer Leah. But this does not go against our treaty with Bakt, does it? I mean, if I'm correct, this clearly branches our contracts.
Actually, this is correct. This is exactly what we were talking about in my class the other day.
Okay.
Now that I think about it, this discussion has brought quite among our peers. Whatever we think about it, people are becoming weary. They think about the dangerous events that those that have happened in our past and our current begin. They're terrified. This nation will see our first war in 100 years.
We must find a way to assure each other that this will not happen. We will solve this in a respectful manner, like we always have and always will. We are a peaceful nation that does not tolerate any violence. We will all know this. I believe we just need to find compromise with Bakt to solve this.
I enjoy your method of compromise. Perhaps we should schedule a meeting with Bakt, our head of international affairs, Audrey, and get to the bottom of this. This is terrifying our people, and we must keep them at peace. The last thing we need is a petrified nation that does not trust us.
I will speak with their leader and see what kind of agreement we can come up with, and what to do with these individuals who have decided to come over. Let us hope for the best.
As the leader of Bakt, I'm not okay with any of this. Oh, hold on a second, please.
Thank you so much for meeting with me.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been meaning to discuss this with you since our last meeting.
I mean, I'm really upset that you put my country of Bakt in that sort of predicament at our meeting.
I didn't know what else to do. I can't tell our fellow council members. You understand, you're at these meetings with me too, Dr. Cassidy. We can only do so much. I can't let them know what happens in our country. Otherwise, everyone will think that we're not as peaceful as we really are.
Right, but you're blaming it on my country of Bakht, and you're putting me in an uncomfortable predicament with my own country. Now, what am I supposed to do with my people? And I'm in a dual committee right now. I'm as a part of Eudaemonia. I'm part of the medical professional. I'm a doctor in Eudaemonia, and here at Bakht, I'm the leader. I have to deal with two things, and now you put me in that predicament. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do.
This would all be so much easier if we could just tell people you were the leader of Bakht, but you know that we couldn't get away with that.
Yeah.
Not with the end goal that we have in mind.
Right, but Eudaemonia is far from perfect, and I think it's really sad that council members have to put it on to their people that Eudaemonia is such a perfect nation when it's so hard to be perfect.
We're far from perfect, and we never will be. But as far as they're concerned, which they don't need to know anymore beyond what we tell them, we're a beautiful nation that flourishes.
So you don't think you should tell them at all that?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Well, my friends, I must say that meeting went far better than I could have imagined. It turns out that the leaders of Bakht weren't even aware that these individuals were doing this.
Wow.
Right.
I'm really impressed with the way the leaders of both was so willing to work with us, especially given our problems in the past.
Right.
I know, I look surprised. I'm a bit surprised. It took us a long time to get where we are today.
As am I, Farmer Leah. I'm actually very impressed that a nation is doing so spectacular with only one leader, given that we have 5. She is more than fit for the job because she doesn't allow herself to succumb to personal greed, which may be the reason we have progressed so much with them. I am very thrilled that the individuals who passed on this hatred will be sent into psychiatric offices and facilities with spiritual and psychological training to help them discover that forcing any thoughts is not ideal.
Overall, I am very happy with the outcome of the meeting, and I am ecstatic that we can assure our citizens and ourselves that no catastrophes will happen.
I must say, I'm a bit curious to what their psychiatry facilities look like. They kept everything hush about the way they run things in the government.
I will tell you that from the little that they do allow me to know, it isn't very pretty. They run a pretty tight ship with quite a bit of propaganda and agendas. The leader's working to turn some of those issues around, but it's receiving quite a bit of backlash from it.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
With all the famine and struggles of war tearing our world apart, humanity yearns for a utopian society that they can confidently raise their children in. How realistic is this goal? At what price does perfection come?